Arc Minerals is a UK-listed company. Our main business is copper. It's all about copper. We have a major asset in Zambia, so not far from our audience here in South Africa. And these are former Anglo American copper assets, which we acquired, and we think these are some of the best copper assets around. The northwest part of Zambia is still largely unexplored. We've done a lot of drilling here, and with phenomenal results, to the extent that we've now had a number of majors interested in us, and we've recently signed an exclusivity agreement with Anglo American. Our market cap has grown. When I joined circa 3 years ago, what I call a tiddler on the London AIM market, roughly a market cap of £2 million. Today we're almost $50 million US. We really do believe we are sitting here on very valuable exploration assets. I originally hail from Anglo American. I've run various other companies prior to this, including a FTSE 120 company based out in Indonesia. We've identified a number of targets. We've drilled over 17,000 meters and spent $3.5 million to date. And at the end of this, we have 14 large and well-identified copper targets. When people say, what is the strategy? We really here are not here to develop a major mining asset ourselves. That is not our level of expertise. We are here to exploit as many based on empirical work that we've done, both geochemists and geophysics, to really identify as many exploration targets as possible with fairly limited funds, because of course, as my predecessor was saying, money is difficult, and we have been quite fortunate to have some very good backers, including some institutions, but money is scarce, and so we are extremely disciplined in terms of how we spend that money on these targets. And so our game here, if you like, our game plan, is to really exploit as many of these targets that we've identified to make them as attractive to a potential suitor. Now, that suitor could be a major, like obviously we've just signed up with Anglo American. It could be a mid-cap. It could be any other potential partner, including private equity who've also reached out to us. So that is our game plan. It's very clear. We're not here to simply keep drilling for the sake of drilling, as I think many junior companies do, without really an end game in sight. We equally not here as a lifestyle company. I think our record shows what we have achieved, and we are very, very focused. We know exploration is a very tough game. You've seen the lack of really any major success with the majors over the last sort of 25, 30 years. And that, I think, in many respects is because, they are not focused enough, and they don't incentivize enough. And I'm a huge believer in incentivization. So we incentivize our people based on success. So we are very focused here, small management team, and really going for ideally some sort of commercial relationship with a much larger company who can drill this out as it should be, because truth be told, on any of these 14 targets, we really should be spending $4 to $5 million per target. So it's what I call the butterfly approach. We're identifying as many on an opportunistic basis, key targets for a partner to come and develop them either exclusively or jointly with us. So we have two major licenses here, Zamsort and Zaco. We control both of those licenses, 66% in Zamsort and 72.5% in Zaco. Our partners here are a local Zambia group called Kopara. We're very pleased with them. They're partners in both those projects, and they have financed their portion along the way. So both these licenses, as I say, were owned previously by Anglo American. When Anglo American ranked their top 30 targets, nine of their top 10 were in these areas which we now own. So, we're sitting on, I think, very exclusive ground here. It's a prolific mineral region. Those of you familiar with the copper belt, you may be more familiar if you sort of look to the right-hand side of that screen with the traditional Zambian copper belt, which is to the sort of big former Anglo assets, Concola, now owned by Vedanta and so on. And this is on the left, the western side, the Western Domes region. This is really where we are, and we're very fortunate to have three very major big deposits, all I think previously owned by Anglo, which are today multi-billion-dollar operations. So the one is Sentinel, which is now owned by First Quantum, which is the closest to us. Lumwana, which is further east, owned by Barrick, and then Kanchansi, which is also owned by First Quantum. These type of copper deposits, typically in the western northwest part of Zambia, tend to be, unlike the traditional copper belt, these tend to be more like very, very large deposits between sort of half a billion to a billion ton resources, with grades varying, but on average between 0.5% and 1%. So these aren't the sort of 3 to 4% type copper deposits, but very, very large. And these are the sort of quite similar results grade-wise that we are finding as well. So we, here on this map, we've identified a number of targets right across both of these license areas. And recently, we've made some new discoveries at Chiesa East, Fuji, which we've just moved on from drilling and just started follow-up drilling at Muswima. So we think that's incredibly exciting. And as I say, whilst Anglo American's doing their work, we're continuing drilling on our own. Obviously, because it's an exclusivity with Anglo, we are not able or in fact desirous to enter into obviously any other discussions with any other group. But I can say that we have had further follow-up approaches by two major companies, two major miners, which obviously we are not able to progress at this stage. So we'll have to see what Anglo decide to do by the early part of next year.